Welcome to another edition of Rocky Top Rundown, your one-stop shop for everything Tennessee athletics. I'm Eric Woods.
And I'm Caleb Colvin. Tennessee football was back home this weekend for the homecoming game against UConn. Last Wednesday, anchors Peyton and Bryson noted that Neyland was shaping up to be a bad place for the UConn Huskies to spend their Saturday. And man, they were right. The Vols rolled over UConn starting here in the first quarter, where Jalen Wright's 82-yard run right into the checkerboard got the game off to a hot start for the Volunteers. Wright will finish the game with 113 yards and this touchdown here. He continues his strong season. Picking up here later into the first quarter, Joe Milton gets the snap, play extra fake to Jalen Wright, and he launches the ball downfield to a wide-open Ramel Keaton for the 60-yard touchdown. He walks into the end zone here, and this puts the Vols to 14-13, moving into the second quarter. Things are not looking good for the Huskies. After some good defensive moves from the Vols, Joe Milton will find Bingo Bango, Squirrel White is his name for the 83-yard touchdown right here. White, another volunteer, having a good year, and he's emerged as the go-to wide receiver as the season is going on. We're picking up here later in the second. UConn would drop the ball both figuratively and literally right here, and the Volunteers would capitalize with Tyler Bear and the big fella picking up 5 checkerboard, and you know he had to celebrate, as you know. Don't get too many opportunities to get into the end zone on the defensive side of the ball.
Now we take you into the third quarter where the Huskies grew a little too comfortable giving the ball to Tennessee. Back-to-back pick sixes. Look at this one from Aaron Beasley. Took it all the way to the house. That is just one of 3 defensive touchdowns by the Vols, a school record actually. And then look at him diving into the end zone. And now jumping to 7:40 left in the third, the Vols 1st and 10. Number 8, Nico Iamaleava, scores his first touchdown of the Vols, the first of many to McAllen Castles for yet another touchdown. 56-3 Volunteers. After an absolutely dominating performance, the Vols would decisively take the final score of 59-3. The Vols will hit the road next Saturday, November 11th, to play the 12th-ranked Missouri Tigers. It was a pretty eventful homecoming weekend on Rocky Top, and reporter Matt Dingus got the exclusive on-campus perspectives of students and alums. Take it away, Matt.
The University of Tennessee hosted their annual homecoming game this week. Though before kickoff, there were many festivities and traditions that had to take place.
Homecoming at the school has had an interesting past, with the first official homecoming occurring in 1916 for the weekend in which the Volunteers took on Vanderbilt, where they would stage an upset 10-6 victory over the Commodores. The Chancellor declared the following Monday a holiday so the celebrations could continue. The event would become annual in 1925, with 1943 being the only exception due to World War II. There are many long-standing traditions that embody homecoming, such as house decorating, parade floats, and Smokey's Howl. I had the chance to talk with a couple students to hear what they thought homecoming was all about.
I think the floats, honestly, and the parade. The parade's awesome. Everybody loves the parade. It's definitely like the biggest attraction for homecoming, I think.
Probably Smokey's Howl. I mean, that's the only time I've seen a bunch of people come together and just dance for almost no reason.
Homecoming is as much about the present as it is the past. So I asked some students about how this year's homecoming compared to previous year's events.
I mean, this is the best homecoming yet. I mean, we got 3rd place, Phi Kappa Tau, baby. You gotta love it.
I mean, I feel like everybody just put in a lot more effort, and all the energy got up. All the energy was like a lot higher this year compared to the past.
Probably the most unique tradition at Tennessee was the pregame walking horse that trotted around Shields Watkins Field just moments before the game commenced.
With the festivities wrapping up, it was now time for the Vols to kick off their battle with the UConn Huskies.
And it was no contest as the Big Orange splattered the Huskies in a homecoming celebration. Joe Milton in particular had a great game for the Vols, passing for 254 yards and 2 touchdowns, as well as a rushing score, all in just one half of action. Here's what Coach Josh Heupel had to say about Milton and the offense's performance today.
Quarterback position, you got to be good enough to overcome some deficiencies at times with the guys around you, but at the same time, you got to have 10 other guys playing it really well around you. It's a unique combination of all of those things, and he's had his eyes in the right spot. He's been efficient with the football. He's been accurate with the football, been timely. He's controlled, our protections, our run game, all of that extremely well. You put all of that together, and that's why, he's playing as efficiently as he was.
Many Volunteer fans were eager with the opportunity to see touted freshman quarterback Nico Iamaleava get some reps in today's game, and he did not disappoint as he threw for his first collegiate touchdown. Coach Heupel had this to say on Nico and the younger players getting some snaps.
Yeah, just the way the the season's unfolded, we haven't had a lot of opportunities for some guys that are a little bit down our depth chart, are not starting to get some of that action. Nico went out. I thought he handled all parts of the game really well for the most part. There's a couple of learning opportunities for him. I thought he was timely using his feet, accurate with the football for the most part. There's a couple of things that he would want back. Really solid performance from him.
That's all on Rocket Top. From Neyland Stadium, I'm Matt Dingus.
Thanks, Matt. Tennessee football will be back in Neyland in 2 weeks for a showdown against the #1 ranked Georgia Bulldogs. Well, basketball season is in full swing, and up next here, Eric and I will preview the Vols and Lady Vols' upcoming seasons on the new edition of Talking Tennessee.
Well, the Vols wasted no time in getting a marquee matchup. Yeah, it was, I wouldn't say just an exhibition game, but they played #4 Michigan State. The environment didn't look like a exhibition game would necessarily. It was a packed out stadium or arena in East Lansing, and the Vols pulled off a 1-point win, 89-88. And I mean, that was also without Zakai Ziegler, Santiago Vescovi, who are probably 2 starters for them. So, I mean, that speaks for itself. This is a deep team, and they found a way to win. They shot really well. I think at one point they led 30-12, and Michigan State, they came back as probably expected. I mean, it's a very good team, and the Vols found a way to pull it out even after. I think with 4 seconds left, Michigan State hit a 3 to tie it up, and then Jordan Gainey, he got fouled, and he stepped up to the line and knocked them both down, or he knocked 1 out of 2, but the one was the only one that mattered. But the Vols got big contributions out of the transfer portal: 28 points from Dalton Connect, 20 from Jordan Gainey, and so Rick Barnes seemed to have crushed the transfer portal. What have you seen out of those two?
I certainly agree that he crushed the transfer portal, as you said, with those two. Obviously, those two, they were brought in to help the Volunteers with their offensive struggles last season. And in the game of Michigan State, they got to show that, like you said, they combined for 48 points, and they got to show their ability to space the floor by knocking down 3-point shots. And then Dalton Connect got to show out a little bit, obviously, with the behind the back on the fast break and the poster dunk. So, yeah, they both obviously, they look like they're going to help the team a lot this season, because obviously last year, once Zakai went down and there was no true point guard, now you bring in 2 guys like that who can score from pretty much anywhere at all 3 levels, and that'll definitely ease some of those struggles and make life easier for Zakai, Santi, Josiah, Jordan James, everybody. So, yeah.
Yeah, you lose 3 guys who appeared in the starting lineup at some point. Uroš Plavčić, you have Julian Phillips, and then you lose Olivier Nkamwa, who's the team's second leading scorer outside of Santi and Zakai. But I mean, I don't think there's any lack of depth here. You have, like you said, we talked about Jordan Gainey. He's gonna have to slide in that backup point guard role most likely, and a guy who can score like that in the backup, it's pretty lethal, especially when Zakai comes back. He is coming back tonight in a matchup with Tennessee Tech, so he'll play limited minutes. So I'm expecting Gainey to get a lot of that playing time. But there's just so much depth here. You have Jemai Mashak, who's shown the ability to step up in big moments. You saw him. He didn't score in the first half against Michigan State. He had 11 in the second half, and he made some key plays down the stretch. He just showed that he's willing to be that guy to kind of. He's not known as a talented scorer, but he's been able to do it. Plus, you know what he brings on defense as a rebounder. He's only 6'4", but Barnes at media days, he said he could play the 4. So you just have guys all around who can be versatile. They can do what you need. That's pretty much what it boils down to. And then you have Tobe Iwaka, who is a rebounding machine, really good on defense. Offensively, he still needs a little bit of work, but you can deal with that when you have some high volume scorers there. So I don't think there's any lack of talent here, and I don't know if I'm willing to take it this far yet, but it's looking like it's one of Barnes's most talented teams he's had. I mean, it speaks for itself. It's a little early, but you have a loaded non-conference slate to kind of set things up and see what you got out of this team. So what are you looking for out of that non-conference slate?
Definitely looking forward to the matchups with Kansas, Marquette, UNC, and Illinois. Obviously, all of those teams are ranked inside the top 25, so they'll be good matchups to test the Volunteers as they go into SEC play in the new year. So it'll obviously be good to see we get to see that depth, and obviously as the Kai works his way back from injury. And I definitely want to see, because I feel like how you talking about Tobe, him and Jonas, they're probably the X factors in the team, because obviously the perimeter play in general is the strength of our team. We kind of like inside scoring, and both of those guys, they'll be counted on because obviously we're kind of a small team, which has its benefits and its deficiencies as well. But those two got to stay out of foul trouble and really, hit the glass on both ends so, we can get some extra shots for our guards.
Yeah, I mean, Barnes' team is they're trying to get over the hump, really, and haven't made it past the Sweet 16, but you never know. You got a loaded slate coming up, so we'll see. We'll see how they respond to that. Another team trying to get over the hump is the women's basketball team, the Lady Vols. They faced Team USA yesterday, and it went about as expected, 95 to 56 or 95 to 59 was the score, and I mean, it's the best players in the country. Against a college team. You're not expected to win that. But Kelly Harper, she said she was proud of the effort and just how they competed. So, and then you have some Rakia Jackson, 15 points. So, who are some impact players you see coming out of the Lady Vols this season?
Definitely Rakia Jackson. She's top 16 player on the Wade Trophy list. So obviously, we already know she's a bucket. She's a baller. She's one of the best players in the country. And then definitely Jewel Spear, transfer from Wake Forest. She was a 2-time All-ACC guard, and she averaged 15 points there in her 3 seasons at Wake Forest. So those two would definitely look to lead the team. Jewel obviously kind of filling in for Jordan Horston, who, drafted by Seattle this past season. So those two will probably be the leaders, the head of the snake, the 1-2 punch that we'll be counting on this season.
You also have Tamari Key, who's coming back. She played the first 9 games last year, and then she had to miss the rest of the season with blood clots. She got a little bit of playing time yesterday, but I want to say it was only 14 or 15 minutes. Didn't get a lot of action, so we'll see how she rebounds from that. And she's their girl in the paint who's gonna be a paint beast. That's about it, and you need that in basketball. So we'll see how that shapes out. We've got some key matchups for them. You've got a loaded non-conference slate. I mean, like I said, with the men's team, you want to have a good non-conference schedule, so you're prepared for what late season's going to bring. You have number 9 Indiana, number 7 Ohio State, number 10 Notre Dame, and number 18 Florida State. That's just to name a few, but I mean, they're going to be tested, and like I said, they're just trying to get over the hump. So we'll end that segment there, and it's time to take it off the basketball court and over to Allen Jones Aquatic Center. This past Friday, the Vols and diving team hosted the Florida Gators and Kentucky Wildcats in a double duel meet, meaning all teams competed together but would be scored as individual duel meets. The Vols had an impressive showing by Irish Olympian Mona McSherry, sweeping the breaststroke events while reigning NCAA champion Jordan Crooks took home the win in both sprint freestyles. A few other Vols took home big victories on Friday. Martin Espenberger took the 200 butterfly win. Freshman Camille Spink won the 200 free, and Josephine Fuller took the 200 individual medley. In the diving well, Tanisha Lucot won the 3-meter event, while Bryden Hattie took the first in both 1 and 3 meters.
The Vols closed out the meet with a bang when Brazilian Olympian Gui Santos threw down a 42.01 split to take down Florida's relay team in the final stretch of the race. That same Florida relay team won the NCAA championships this past March, which bodes well for the Vols in championship season. Both the Vols and the Lady Vols would take home decisive wins over the Kentucky Wildcats, but the Vols were edged out by the number 3 ranked Gators, 169 to 131, while the number 7 ranked Lady Gators also took down the Lady Vols, 193 to 107. The Vols will be back in action 2 weeks from now, Wednesday at Allen Jones Aquatic Center for the Tennessee Invitational. Well, that's all for this edition of Rocky Top Rundown. I'm Caleb Colvin.
And I'm Eric Woods. Thank you for watching, and we will see you next time.